The global food crisis has impoverished millions of people worldwide. As one possible solution to the problem, many experts are demanding more support for small-scale farming. An example in Kenya shows how it is possible to mitigate the effects of the crisis with smart ideas. A project with German support has opened new perspectives for a large number of people. Early in the morning, Maina and his wife Moby start the day by looking after their goats. The animals mean a lot to them because they are very special goats. The ancestors of these high-quality goats originated from Germany. They produce 2 liters of milk per day. This is 8 times the quantity of the local races. On top of that, goat keeping has several other advantages and benefits we are going to look at later. After milking, Moby prepares tea for breakfast with 1 portion of the milk. The healthy goat milk is an important part of their diet. The family lives in the Central Highlands in a village called Gorano, which is 20 kilometers from Nyeri town. They do small-scale farming, and Maina also works as a plumber. In addition, the family has successfully reared goats for some years, being part of a goat keepers group. Maina and Moby have 4 children. 2 girls still live at home. It is time for them to start their way to school. Maina has to feed the goat kid with a bottle because the mother died giving birth. That was a big loss for Maina, since the goats are of high value to him.
We normally feed the goats with napier grass, that is the main diet. We have banana leaves, we have various branches from various trees, maize corn from maize cobs, even banana and bean leaves, and the other various leaves from around, even from certain trees. And let's say to feed the goats and like a cow is very, very simple. Currently I have 2 goats. And we had 3 until recently, but unfortunately 1 died after giving birth to this cow you see here. There are sometimes actually we have even 4, even 5, but we at certain levels we sell them to get the money actually to help me run my family. The other major benefit actually is about milk, because the production of the milk we get from them will really assist us for drinking, even for selling. And those are all the benefits actually we get from the goats. Yeah.
The dairy goats are kept in a stable for a number of reasons. This way uncontrolled mating is avoided. At the same time, it is a protection against ticks that transfer diseases. Keeping the animals in a stable also makes it possible to collect the dung. When goats are free, they destroy the vegetation and eat trees and bushes bare. In the stable, however, such damages to nature can be avoided. Cows traditionally have been one of the main pillars of small-scale farming and will remain so. However, in comparison to the goats, they have a number of disadvantages. In fact, the cows could produce much more milk, But the farmers, with their small portions of land, are not able to grow enough fodder in order to feed them properly. Therefore, Miner's cow does not produce much more milk than one of his goats.
The cows and the goats, the comparison is easy because I used to have 4 cows. And the feeding of the cows actually was making us very tired because the cow consumes a lot of fodder, that is napier grass and maize. But with the goats they eat very little. Secondly, the attention of a cow, as in comparison with the goats, actually the goats can be tended by even by very small kids. But the attention of a cow has to be a grown-up, either me or my wife, or even engage somebody to help us. So I decided actually to scale down on the cows and invest more on the goats, because to feed the goats, or rather to keep the goats, actually is affordable. Secondly, the returns of the goats from the milk, even when you sell one, they are good actually, unlike the cows. Second, thirdly, about the cows, actually you are being involved with a lot of chemicals, the cattle dips, but with the goats you don't have that. So relatively, you see that the comparison is so wide to compare a cow with a goat.
Now and then the goats are also allowed to get out of the stable in order to get enough movement. But that is only under Miner's supervision. "20 kilometers away from Miner's village, near Nyeri, is the head office of the Dairy Goat Association of Kenya.
There is this contract we had with British American Insurance. I think we should.
The organization, with the acronym DGAK, had its origin in a German development project. $120 and 15 goats were imported from Germany in the 1990s when the breeding started. It was the beginning of the success story of the German alpine goat in Kenya.
The Dairy Goat Association of Kenya started in 1994. Before 1994, it was started as small livestock project. This was a joint venture between the German government and the Kenyan government. They were trying to breed goats, that they were upgrading our local goats, small East African goat and the Gara goat, using imported German alpine goats. They brought in goats in 1992, and they were used on our small East African goats. They were upgraded, and farmers formed groups. These groups are made of about 10 to 25 members. The members own goats, and they would own one bag, which was used to serve their goats. Since 1994, the association has grown. It started from 3 districts, that's Nyeri, Murang'a, and Embu. But today it has grown to all the districts in the central province, that is around Mount Kenya, has gone to Eastern Province, and has gone to the Rift Valley, has gone to Nairobi, and Western Kenya. It covers more than 18 districts today, all across the country. We started off with about 30-40 groups, but today we have got 1,004 groups of farmers.
All dairy goat keepers are members of the association, and in return they get essential services. An advisor from the German Development Service supports the Dairy Goat Association. Agricultural engineer Karl Meyer advises on the implementation of the breeding program, on opening up new markets, and on organizational development. He explains how it is possible to breed many high-quality dairy goats with only a few German bucks.
Here you can see the breeding plan of our association. It's a crossbreeding program. That means two different breeds are crossed. There's on the one side a German Alpine with 100%, and on the other side the local goats with, here in this case, 0%. The first offspring, we call them foundation. The foundation has 50% of the German Alpine blood. For further breeding, we only can use the female ones. The male ones have to be castrated. So the female are crossed again with the German Alpine, and the second generation will result in 75% of the German Alpine, which we call intermediate. Again, the intermediate and only the female ones can be crossed or are crossed again with the German Alpines, and the third cross will result in a gene potential of 87.5%, which we call here Abedix. And the Abedix, that's our target, the 87.5%, because we want to have some part of the genes from the local goats, because they bring some resistance against diseases, and they also bring the capability to adapt to the environment here in Kenya.
The goat keepers in the villages are organized in groups, and each group bought a buck for 10,000 Kenya shillings. The elected buck keeper of Minas Group is his neighbor Kirigo Kefara. She has long-time experience in goat rearing and also knows the characteristics of the bucks.
The name of the buck is known as Jim. And when it came, it was so polite because it was very thin. Now, when I tried to feed it properly, it started to kick things. Even it has spoiled its house. You can see it. I have tied it with ropes. Yeah. Now it is not because of feeding. Feeding is very proper to it. It has become naughty. Yeah.
A stormy appearance is probably part of his job. Jim, the buck, has a lot of work. All the 30 members of the group bring their goats to him. His services are not for free, though. Each goat keeper has to pay a small fee. That way, their revenues refinance the purchase of the buck. This is also a principle of the whole dairy goat project. Nothing is for free, and still the project is booming. Kirigo also possesses 4 goats. For these, as for all the others, she lists each service in their records. That way, it is possible to prove the genealogy of the offspring. Jim is sometimes allowed to get out of the stable. Then Kirigo needs a helper to watch him.
Sharon. Yes. How are you?
Raimund Hoffmann is in charge of the agricultural program of the German Technical Cooperation in Kenya. The GTZ initiated the project together with the Kenyan authorities and still supports it today. The integration of as many farmers as possible into the market is crucial for him.
The German Development Corporation started with this goat project in the 90s with the importation of bucks and female goats. The idea was to cross with local goats for better milk production. Especially focus was put on the nutritional situation in the farming families. Nowadays we see that the farmers rather sell the milk and the goats because it's real money in it. It really contributes to income generation in farming families.
The fact has spread that dairy goats are a good business, and this has led to a huge expansion. From an initial few groups in the Mount Kenya area, the project has grown to more than 1,000 groups in the whole country. The Dairy Goat Association has 15,000 members at the moment. Miners Group is holding one of its regular meetings. An assistant of the association joins them.
I have got 32 groups. The work I do is tattooing, castration, writing Kenya study book, and recruiting them, good management, about housing, about how kids rearing, how they keep good shed, and how to mix fodder. And they are pregnant to be separated because if they are squeezed, they can hit each other. The abortion can be, the goats can abort, and if they don't give dewormers, you see, even the goat can die. And the shed to be clean because if it is dirty wet, the kids can diarrhea and it can even die. Yeah.
The farmers have brought their goats for deworming today. Rose is the contact person for all goat-keeping matters, as well as the link between the farmers in the village and the Dairy Goat Association. There are 80 assistants like her in the whole country. The young goats get a tattoo at the age of 3 months. The number, together with the proof of origin in the documents, will increase the value for a sale at a later date. As an assistant, Rose also participates at the branch meetings of the Dairy Goat Association.
Do we have anything?
The branches play an extraordinary role as a link between the national level and the grassroots level.
Yeah, our branches are the strongest because they are the supporters of the association. And that is where we discuss most of the issues, whereby which contains our farmers in the grassroots level. And what we do after every 3 months, we meet with all the 6 branches. We have a plan, a program, whereby we attend the meetings to all those 6 branches in their respective head offices. whatever the problems the farmers have at the grassroots level is brought up at the branch meeting discussion. That is why you can see now, you can hear from the branch meeting which is going on, the issue of milk, which is a part of the income generation of our farmer. And that is why the members of the committee are very serious when discussing that.
The association works according to democratic principles. Everybody is elected at each level, starting from the bookkeeper to the organization's chairperson.
Yes, DGK is special in that we are democratic. Right from the grassroots, the farmer groups elect their people through secret ballot. That is, they elect their chairman, their treasurer, and their secretary, all those officials at the branch, at the group level. When we come up to the people who are sent as delegates to the national AGM, which is held every year, the elections are held on the floor. That is, those people who are campaigning for various offices have got room. They are given a chance to speak, and people elect them for those things that they have said they are good at. Each office has been given a limit, a period through which one can remain. The office of the chairman has got about 3 years. If he has done good work, this can be renewed, and this is renewed by the members. It's not the chairman himself. I would say this one is democratic because in other organizations, the people in the office can come and bulldoze the delegates and say, since our people have done some good work, why don't we return all of them? There is nothing like that in DGK. It will depend on the performance of each particular person. I think the DGK is different in the sense that if the people have delivered, they will be elected back to the office. But if they have not done anything, the people will be voted out. We come from different districts, different parts of the country, but still they will look for somebody whom they think will deliver. So election is national. We hold all the people from the whole country come for the AGM, but they still do not stick to a person from a particular area. Yeah. Like me, I come from Kirinyaga and we are in Nyeri. There are more farmers who came from Nyeri, but they did not elect somebody from Nyeri for that matter. Kirinyaga is the smallest branch so far, but we have the fewest members who came, but are still elected, unopposed in that case.
An important byproduct of goat keeping is the dung. After cleaning the stable, it falls onto the ground. The dung is then piled in the garden for some time so that it loses its acridity. After that, it is spread in the garden. Manure from goat dung is considered to be very good and fertilizes the soil for 2 or 3 harvests. Here, Moby is putting maize seeds in the dust-dry soil. Then she goes to the next garden for the harvest. Many crops grow in the highlands throughout the whole year. The soil has been exhausted by intensive farming due to hereditary division. Therefore, manure plays an important role for farming in the small gardens.
We usually grow potatoes, some cabbages. We also grow Maize, sometimes maize. We are tomatoes, and we have a variety of them. There are so many. Oh, it's enough to feed the whole family. And when we have some friends who usually visit us at home, we have the surplus. So the goat's manure is really helpful to the family. And what we usually buy is rice, sugar, coffee, things that we don't grow in the garden. But for the food, it is always, we are satisfied with everything we get from the garden.
The first rainfalls pronounce the rainy season, which will come soon. The farmers are longing for it already. The coffee has started to become ripe in Minar's garden, and therefore it has to be picked. In the Central Highlands, the coffee is one of the main crash crops. As a result of the global food crisis, the price of fertilizer in Kenya has increased threefold. That is why Minar cannot afford fertilizer. Instead, he uses goat dung and still gets a good harvest. Minar is transporting his first harvest of the year by bicycle to the coffee factory. On his way, he has to stop for the train from Nairobi to Nanyuki to pass. In former times, this was an important transportation link. Nowadays, a train passes only now and then. Near Ngaine village, there is the small coffee factory. And that is where the coffee is collected, peeled and dried for resale. The quantity is noted down after weighing. The payment will be made according to the world market price at the end of the season. The Dairy Goat Association has been buying goat milk from the farmers in a testing phase since last year. Minar delivers his surplus at one of the collection points. The controller tests the quality and checks if the milk had been thinned down with water. Goat milk sells at double the price of cow milk. Karl Meyer visits the collection points from time to time. The dairy car has to pick milk from the other collection points, while Karl Meyer is going straight to Nyeri town, to the cheese factory, which processes the milk. Meyer is also an expert of cheese production and shares his expertise with the company. Cheese from cow's milk has been produced here for quite some time. However, goat cheese is considered as a new high-priced product in Kenya. It is supplied to the big supermarkets in Nairobi. After the testing phase, the company will increase its marketing.
Currently we're doing 200 liters a day, and I see the potential going up by about 10. That's just the Kenyan market, and then we have the regional markets, which is Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Burundi, And one of the most important things is there's a lot of health benefits with the goat's cheeses, especially low in cholesterol. People are becoming more and more attuned to health, and this is where we see a big growth for the goat's milk cheese and goat's milk maybe in the future. So it all depends on how the market is going to accept it, and I can see them accepting the whole cheese very, very well.
They produce semi-hard cheese, feta and cream cheese. For a start, the assortment shows quite a variety. The commercial use of the milk is very important for the Dairy Goat Association.
If goat milk products with a high quality and a good taste are available in the market, the demand for these products will increase automatically. Especially now, since we have started this marketing of the goat milk recently. And if there is a high demand, or if the demand increases, the farmers, our farmers, can sell more milk. And if they can sell more milk, they have a better income than before. And yes, actually, I would like to have for as many as possible farmers, goat farmers, a market for their goat milk.
So far, only the farmers in the surroundings of Nyeri have benefited from the sale of milk. The main source of income for the other goat keepers is the sale of dairy goats which they have reared. The demand is high. The farmers buy the animals either for milk or for breeding. Sales are facilitated yet again by the assistance of the Dairy Goat Association that connects sellers and buyers. Rose has also found a buyer for Miner's goat. She compares the tattoo number in the ear to the one on the goat card. The genealogy determines the price. In the end, Miner gets 15,000 shillings for the goat. In the past, Miner could sell 4 to 5 goats per year, depending on the breeding success.
Well, the goats proceeds from the sale of goats. Has really contributed quite a lot in the welfare of my family. In particular, the house you are living in, because we used to live in a timber house there, and I started a project of this house. But after setting the foundation and building 2 courses, the project stalled because of lack of money. But when I started the goats project, I sold the first 2 goats. The proceeds really helped me quite a lot, because I could be able to have to buy a lorry of sand, a lorry of stones, and even cement. After that, after settlement, I can sell on. We just went slowly. You'll be able to build up the house. You'll be able to put the windows, the grass, even painting. Particularly from the sales proceed from the goats. The other issue is as regards to the benefits from the goats, because they could take the manure. Manure, I took it to the coffee. The coffee, the production was rather high, and you could get extra money from other than the one I was getting, and they had really helped me quite a lot. So that is the welfare of the family, because I have got 4 kids. Some 2 of them are in secondary school, and they'll be able to raise the fees. Besides, they are eating from feeding my family, and they have really helped me.
Miner now runs a small posho mill in his old house next door. People from the neighborhood bring their maize to be milled for a fee in order to get ugali flour. Moby recently opened a small shop next to the house. This is yet another perception of village life. People use their possibilities and try to develop their lives. And the goats have contributed at each stage. Not only Maina, but all the dairy goat keepers have been able to improve their lifestyle in one way or another over the last years. The income from the goat sales has helped his neighbor Miriam Diritu to build a reservoir tank to collect rainwater. As the village has no water supply, she used to have to walk to the river and carry the water home. After school, Maina's daughters also have to help making fodder for the animals. They get napier grass from a garden that the family has leased. The rotation of the bucks is one of the most important tasks of the Dairy Goat Association. Today, the team is heading north, towards Narumoru. North of Nyeri, there is a change of scenery. The green hills change to an open, white savanna with vast grasslands. A buck is allowed to stay with one farmer's group for 15 months. After that, there is the danger of inbreeding with the goats, and the buck has to be exchanged. This way, 700 bucks out of 1,000 change their owner in Kenya every year. The groups pay a fee to the association for the exchange. The whole system of breeding dairy goats would not work without this rotation. But how is it possible to keep track of so many bucks in the country?
We have a computer buck rotation program that we use to know which buck to go where and the relative of the buck that we are rotating. The program informs you where the buck has been to before. It also tells you the relatives of the buck up to 12% blood level. With that, you know where to take the buck without causing any breeding.
Staff members of the Dairy Goat Association have to travel 30,000 kilometers each year in order to rotate all the bucks. This has already become a routine job. Karl Meyer, however, is worried about the climate change and the more and more extended dry seasons.
The problems are first and foremost the milk production during the drought, during the dry season. The farmers have not enough fodder to feed the animals accordingly to their potential of producing milk. In our case, the milk production decreases by 50% during the drought. Last year actually we started to train our DJK assistants on fodder conservation, meaning how you can make hay, how you can make silage. And this knowledge they have to transfer to their farmer groups. Okay, it needs some time that one farmer will then use this knowledge. But I think in 2 or 3 years, maybe we will see the first farmers to produce the same amount of liters throughout the year.
The food crisis is a threat to food security for many people in developing countries. Therefore, more and more international organizations demand more support for small-scale farmers. The Dairy Goat Project, that has existed for a number of years, is in line with this new trend. The effects of the global food crisis and additional droughts have hit Kenya hard, with extremely increased prices for staple food. The rearing of dairy goats has helped farmers to sustain subsistence farming as well as to generate an additional income. Thus, they were able to cushion the effects of the crisis. Today, the last stop is Buckkeeper's Kirigo's farm. Jim has to be exchanged too. This time, Kirigo gets a buck without horns. After all these years of crossbreeding of local goats with the bucks of the German alpine goat, a new race has finally emerged. It is called the Kenyan alpine goat. Dairy goat rearing is attracting more and more interest, and the project keeps growing. Again and again, groups from all over the country visit the organization's head office in order to gather information. Organizations from other East African countries have shown interest too, and have placed orders for Kenyan alpine goats.
Or even better.
It is not hard for the staff to convince the visitors about the advantages of the goats.
Because of the different fat balls in the goat milk.
Meiner does not need to be convinced anymore. He has enjoyed the advantages for many years. The day ends for him as it started. He feeds the animals and takes a cup of tea with goat milk.